Hi, I'm Brian Russell. I'm going to talk to you about breathing. So breathing is something that we do every day, all day, every minute that we live. And it's something that we don't often pay attention to. But in yoga, we pay attention very much to our breath, and I'm just going to talk about some of the basic aspects of breathing in a yoga class or yogic breathing that will help you. That's not necessarily covered in every yoga class, so hopefully it will help you breathe better in yoga class and then also maybe breathe better in your life. So I guess first of all, I'll talk about the posture that we have and how that affects our breathing, and then I'll talk about different ways that we can breathe in terms of where we're breathing in our body, and a little bit about how that affects our bodies and our system and our state. So first of all, our posture, you can think about this. So if my heart is open and my ribs are expanded and my shoulders are back and my spine is nice and tall, is this going to be a good breathing position? Is it going to be better or worse than if I'm hunched over and I'm sinking in, my shoulders are here? You can kind of just imagine, just looking at me, which position is going to be more conducive for breathing, right? So of course, this one is going to be better as opposed to kind of getting hunched over. This is how we kind of are after we've been working at the desk for a few minutes or for a day. So we're kind of like not a great breathing position. In order to breathe fully and efficiently, we need to have the front of the body nice and open. So our belly needs to be able to move, expand and pull in. And our ribs need to be able to move, expand, and pull in. So in this position, it's kind of like a very alert, and we think, oh, this is good posture, and this is not good posture. Just kind of offhand, we would think, yeah, this is going to be great. So we want to be in this nice, great posture. The spine is vertical, the heart is open, shoulders back, and then we're going to be able to breathe more fully. So this is a position that we want to be in many of our yoga classes or many of our yoga poses, is this nice open front of the body so that we can breathe fully. So our breathing, there's two primary ways I'll share that we can breathe. One is by moving the ribs and expanding the rib cage, and this will kind of pull the lungs out, it pulls the air in, and then the rib pull in and it pushes the air out. Or the other way is we can expand the abdomen and let the belly expand out. Kind of the diaphragm will pull down, and we can pull air into kind of the lower part of the lungs, we'll call it. And then we can pull the belly in and we'll push the air out. So we're gonna lay down on our back in a moment and go through these two different ways to breathing. I just find it's a little easier to practice on your back. So it would be great, you could just find a place to lay down, and we'll just do a little bit of exercise, breathing with our ribs and breathing with our belly. Yeah, so we'll lay down on the back, and you can have a pillow, but you don't need a pillow. It's probably better without a pillow. I'm just having a pillow a little bit for the video. It's going to be a little bit easier to see, I think. So you can bring your right hand on your belly. Actually, let's bring both hands on the belly. So the fingers will touch right on the belly button. And then as we inhale, we can let the belly rise up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we can pull the belly down towards the spine. Inhale, belly rises up towards the ceiling. We can exaggerate this motion. And exhale, belly sinks down towards the floor. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly sinks down. And you can just try a few times on your own. Inhale, letting the belly rise up towards the ceiling. Exhale, the belly sinks down towards the floor. Exaggerating that movement of the belly as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Oftentimes I find it's a little bit challenging. It takes a few tries, maybe even a few days or a few weeks for people to kind of be able to understand how to breathe down in the belly. It's not necessarily something that people do naturally. They've kind of developed the habit of breathing more with the ribs. So I guess give yourself a little bit of patience to learn how to breathe with the belly. But I also encourage you to spend some time on it and just practicing. And even if you were to just lay down on your back, well, I guess when you go to sleep maybe, and just bring your hands here and take 5 deep breaths, trying to exaggerate this movement of the belly. So again, it's inhale. So as the belly rises, you feel the fingers come a little bit apart. And then as you exhale, you feel the fingers come back together. Inhale, belly rises, fingers come apart. Exhale, lower down, fingers come back together. Inhale, belly rises. And exhale. So you can practice at any time. We're going to move up to the ribs. So we'll bring the hands right up near the clavicles, up on the ribs, and we're going to try to expand the ribs as we breathe in. So as we breathe in, inhale, let the ribs expand, and exhale, let the ribs sink back in. Inhale, let the ribs expand. Exhale, let the ribs sink in. And again, inhale, let the ribs expand. And exhale. So you can practice this a few more times on your own. So I'll just mention, and you can go back and forth, just trying to learn more about how to breathe in each position. So hands on the belly, we can inhale, let the belly rise. Exhale, it falls. Then you can switch up to the ribs. Inhale, let the ribs expand. And exhale. And then we can also add the two together, which is what we call a full yogic breath, or dirgha pranayama sometimes. So a full yogic breath would be the inhale, the belly rises, and then the ribs expand. And exhale, the ribs sink in and the belly sinks in. So it's kind of both. And then again, inhale, belly rises, ribs expand. And exhale. And one more time, inhale, belly rises, and ribs. And exhale. So come back up to sitting. So I find that practicing on the back is a great way to do it, because sometimes sitting is uncomfortable, but then eventually, as we get comfortable sitting, we can do the same thing while we're sitting. So inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly in, and then inhale, ribs expand. Exhale, ribs sink in. So we can do the same thing here, or in the full yogic breath. Inhale, belly and ribs, and exhale. Yeah, so that's kind of like the main introduction to breathing. I'll just mention real quickly, in general, the breathing with our belly tends to be a relaxing breath and kind of more revitalizing for the body, kind of relaxing and good for our immune system and good for our digestion. Whereas when we breathe with our ribs, it tends to be a more energizing breath, and think like we'll bring a little bit more strength and tenseness into the body, and we'll have more energy when we breathe up with the ribs. So there's great qualities of both of them, and it's just good to learn to access both breaths. So if we want to be able to relax the body, we can breathe with the belly. If we want to bring energy in, we can breathe with the ribs. And I'll just talk a little bit about a couple breathing exercises just real briefly. One is in the vinyasa class, oftentimes the teacher will talk about ujjayi breath. And ujjayi breath is when we make an ocean sound in the back of the throat as we breathe in and out through the nose. So I like to think of it as if we're fogging a mirror. If we were to breathe out through our mouth, we get that, real heat coming out of the body through the mouth. And then if we do the same thing, except we close our mouth and breathe out through the nose, so it makes that ocean sound. The air kind of really swirls as it comes out, and it's a very controlled breath and very powerful controlled breath. So that's the ujjayi breath if a teacher talks about that. And that's something that you can practice on your own. It takes a little bit of a while to start to understand and be able to practice all of these. So give yourself plenty of patience and ask questions of your teachers and practice. And then sometimes, I guess I'll just mention, we won't do them. There's other breathing exercises called pranayamas that are very much a part of yoga. And they are just like the asana poses are part of yoga, breathing exercises are part of yoga. So of course we're going to breathe when we're doing the asanas, but then there's some practices that we're just breathing and we're not worried about doing the poses. So some of them might be like alternate nostril breathing. We're not going to learn how to do it today, but we're just breathe in and out through the left nostril or switch back and forth. So different pranayamas are called breathing exercises. You may do those in class. Or Kapalabhati is another one. It's like this force pumping that you might see in class. So just know that while we breathe in asana, there's also breathing exercises called pranayama that are practices in their own right. So hopefully this little introduction will help you a little bit in your yoga practice and in life, in breathing. And just if we pay attention to the way we breathe, the way we breathe actually affects our life very much. Just imagine if we're always having an energizing breath, and the body gets a little bit, it's kind of like a stressful breath as well, it gets a little bit taxed over time. Whereas if we have a relaxing breath and we're a bit more at peace and relaxed with things, it can be a bit healthier position to be in long term rather than a stress position. So, both are great, but some are appropriate for certain situations and some are appropriate for others. So, breathe every day, and we will see you soon. Namaste.